It's a good afternoon here in Maryland today. I just got off work and I decided to come over here to the yard to work on a little project that I've been debating on for some time. And bundle sales are going crazy right now. Bundle sales are starting off strong this year. We're just getting into the camping season and already quite a few have been going out. So last year I kind of contemplated what I'm going to show you today, and a lot of you have already done this that are in the firewood business or firewood hobby. But I've decided to modify a lot of what you all do for my needs, and I'm going to explain to you what I'm going to do to try to alleviate this problem that I have and show you what I think is going to work for me. Hopefully get some feedback on some pros and cons. So stick around and I'll show you what we're doing. So here's my dilemma. Over the past couple weekends, as you know, both of my kids play travel ball. Most weekends we are, on the baseball field or the softball field. And a lot of people don't call me and request to buy some firewood bundles until the weekend when I'm not here or not prepared. I can't set them out for them. A lot of times if somebody will call me a day or two ahead of time, I will make arrangements with them and set them out somewhere. They know where to pick it up, they know where to leave the money, and that all works out well. But when I'm actually away on the baseball diamond and I get a phone call or a Facebook message or a text, somebody wanting firewood bundles, especially my loyal customers that come back time and time again, and I'm not home and not prepared for their order, it kind of defeats me a little bit. And I wish they would have called me a day or two ahead of time, but they didn't, and now I can't help them out until later. But if they need it in a pinch, then they got to get their wood from somewhere else. And I don't like that, so today I'm going to try to solve that problem. And what my idea is, I'm going to use a single pallet. I got one of my 48 by 48 inch pallets out. I'm going to use a single pallet, set it up on some 2-foot 4x4 posts because I had an extra 4x4 post laying around. Set it 2 foot high off the ground. I'm going to build some sides and a little roof on it, just strictly for bundles. I don't have a roadside stand, and I'm really not interested in having a roadside stand just because of the threat of theft and putting it up here on the highway. You can't really keep an eye on it, and where my house is, there's not a lot of traffic. I live on a road that dead ends into a cul-de-sac. So my plan is to build this little stand. It'll only be 4 foot by 4 foot. I'll be able to move it around easily with the skid loader and the forks. And if I'm going to be away on a weekend or out of town or something, and I think I might get a call for some bundles, I'll load some bundles on that, leave it here at the wood yard, and people will call me and I'll let them know where to leave their money, how to pick up their bundles, and that way hopefully avoid some missed sales. So I'll show you what we're going to do here. So like I said, I've got the 4 foot by 4 foot pallet out, and my plan is to take this 4x4 post. It's 8 foot long, so I'll cut 4 2-foot sections and put a 2-foot section of 4x4 on each corner of the pallet. That'll set it 2 foot up off the ground. And then I'll just take some scrap lumber that I have and build some sides with a slanted roof. And see where it takes us. I'm kind of going to build it out of my head. I know a lot of you all have very elaborate stands on the roadside that have loose stacks and bundles available and what have you. But for my situation right now, I'm going to build something small and simple and maybe fix a problem. So you see I got the little generator sitting down there to run my circular saw. I've got the Sawzall, some drills, and impact guns. So enough of me rambling. Let's see what we can piece together here. Like I said, this is all going to be out of my head. I've got no plans other than the picture in my mind. So let's get cutting. All right, so there's my 4 legs, if you will. They're 2 foot long, like I said, and that should get it up off the ground high enough to where people won't have to bend over super far to grab their bundles. So the next plan is to flip this 4x4 pallet over and measure out where we're going to put these 4 legs. So I'm going to leave these slats on the front and back. The middle one's broke off, but that doesn't really matter. And I think I'll just put the 4 legs right on the inside corners inside these first slats. All right, so here are my uprights for what will go up and eventually be the roof. This is all scrap material. A couple pieces of 2x4, and these 2 pieces for the back were part of an old pallet that I dismantled. So everything's free so far. These uprights that are going to go on the front are just over 5 foot long, and the ones that will go on the back are 48 inches long. Like I said, they came off a pallet, so they're 4 foot. So we'll have a pretty substantial drop going towards the back of the stand. I think I'm going to put a piece of plywood across the top because I've got a lot of scrap pieces of plywood down there, and then overlay that with some of the roofing metal. So let's get these screwed on here. We'll try to get them as straight and level as we can. Like I said, this isn't going to be a masterpiece. It's just something small and simple. Let's get these uprights on. All right, well, this project keeps getting more involved than I had originally envisioned. I keep adding little things onto it. But here's where we are. You saw me put the 4 uprights up. I put some pieces down the side to hold the roofing, and I put a brace on the back, across the back here. All scrap wood from pallets. I did have a piece of 2x8 left over from the pallet shed build, the skidder shack. So I'm going to put that across the front here. and possibly, you know, put a sign on it or something, Firewood, and what the prices are. But I told you I was going to put a plywood roof on it and put metal over top the plywood, but now I'm thinking I might put a plywood back on it as well, just to keep things from falling off the back of the stand. I don't know, we'll see what happens when we get there, but for right now I'm working alone. I'm going to try to get this 2x8 piece of wood across the front here and see if we can get that screwed on. Y'all didn't know that the yard trailer was also a sawhorse. I'm going to cut this piece of plywood here. This will go on the roof and get covered with metal. So I just had an idea. Instead of putting plywood on the back like I originally said, I just took a measurement on what the width and the height is back here since I put the slanted roof on, and it's about 40.5 inches. The width is about 46.5. So I think I have a smaller pallet back there that might be about that size. I might just put a pallet in the middle. I might do the same thing on both sides and end up having what most people have anyway. Like I said, it's constantly evolving and it's becoming more than I originally thought it would be. So let's grab a couple of those pallets in the back, the smaller ones, and see how it looks. All right, so I did end up putting plywood on the back. The pallets just wouldn't work out there. The size was not quite right. So I went ahead and used the rest of the piece of plywood that I used on the roof and cut it and put it on the back. Now I left it short there on the bottom. I didn't want to cover the pallet because if I have to come in with the forks from the back side, I didn't want to block that off from being able to move it. But the pallets did work pretty good for the sides. I didn't have to cut those pallets at all. They were 48 by 40s on both sides, and they fit in there nicely, so I just screwed them to the existing uprights that we put on. This is what the inside of it looks like. The only thing left now is to put the metal on the roof and possibly some paint. I'm getting a little carried away here with this project. This is not going out on the roadside. This is just something for me to be able to put some bundles in for regular customers who might want to pick something up while I'm not around. So yeah, I'm getting a little carried away, but let's get the roof on it and then we'll talk about paint. Sometimes things just work out. I don't know about you, but more often than not in my life, every obstacle you can possibly come across, I feel like is what normally happens to me. But every once in a while, things work out. And the metal on that roof right there, I did not have to cut, I did not have to trim, I didn't have to do anything. That metal was scraps left over from when I cut the roof on the old skidder shack down there. And those two pieces, when put together, fit perfectly for the length and width of that roof. Give you a little closer look. I still got to put a couple screws in there, but you can see where it's lifted up a little bit there in the front. But the metal roof is on, and I'll take you around front. I left a little bit of an overhang here on the front, but it's high enough overhead so you don't have to worry about the sharp edges, because those things are pretty gnarly. They're pretty sharp and they'll get you if you're not paying attention, but it's well over my head and I'm 6'3", so nobody should have an issue with that. Now as far as paint goes, I'm undecided. I really don't know if I want to put the effort and the time into putting a coat of paint on this thing. However, the piece of plywood here on the back I know is not going to weather very well, so it should probably have something put on it to help at least extend its life a little bit. That particle board is not for outdoor weather. It'll get brittle and fall apart fairly quickly, I know. So paint might be able to help it. But let me know what you think. Should I paint it or not? Drop me a comment. Well, that was a nice little after work project today. Took me about an hour and a half. We threw this thing together with some scrap wood, some pallets. I'm becoming quite the pallet builder here. I don't know, but they work good for this kind of stuff. I'm still a believer in that. But anyway, we should be able to get probably at least 12-15 bundles in here at a time, which is plenty. And yeah, not bad for a little afternoon project. So tell me what you think. Tell me if you think this is going to work for my uses. I know you guys that have the bigger stands, you need more wood, you need the loose stacks, and have a lot more customers coming to your roadside stand to buy wood. Like I said, I just have a few customers that will call me on the weekend, kind of spur of the moment, and I'd like to have a place where I can keep them centrally located, where I can tell somebody where to come and pick them up and leave some money. I'm going to put a money box on this thing, bolt it to it somehow, secure it good, probably an ammo can or something like that. Give me some ideas of what you use for money boxes and what has worked well for you all. But that's going to be it. I hope you enjoyed this little makeshift episode here. Make sure you like and subscribe, tell your friends about the channel, and we'll talk to you next week. Have a great one, everybody.